世界のみんなとつながろう Bridges across world communities.
Hello everyone and welcome to Bridges Across World Communities, sponsored by NIA, the Nishinomiya City International Association. My name is Floyd.
And my name is Thelma. Each month, we provide practical knowledge for daily living and important information about disaster prevention.
This program is for English-speaking residents in the Nishinomiya area and is broadcast on the second and fourth Saturday of each month from 12 noon to 12:15.
This month, we'll talk about a medical interpreter dispatch service and the latest information on COVID-19.
And our guest this month is Ms. I. Richardson, a Nishinomiya resident initially from the Philippines.
提供は西宮市国際交流協会です。Happy November, Floyd. Are you enjoying our cool autumn weather?
Yes, Thelma. It's great for hiking and the fall colors will be on full display soon. I love it.
Me too. So, shall we dive into this month's topic?
Yeah, let's go.
If your Japanese language skills are still weak, you may have experienced problems communicating with doctors and nurses at hospitals or clinics.
Now, if so, we have some useful information about a medical interpreter service provided by the Multi-Language Center FACIL. It's a non-profit organization in Kobe City.
Among its various other translation services, FACIL can also dispatch medical interpreters to hospitals and clinics to help those who cannot speak Japanese.
And now, thanks to a donation from the Kobe International Medical Foundation, patients can use this medical interpreter service at a greatly reduced cost.
The usual fee was 6,000 yen for a session of up to 4 hours.
But now, 3,500 yen will be covered by the donation, so patients will only have to pay the remaining 2,500 yen.
To use the interpreter service, it's best to apply several days in advance by calling or sending an email.
Now, when contacting the Multi-Language Center FACIL, be sure to include your name, contact information, the language you need an interpreter for, the hospital and department you'll be going to, your symptoms, and the date and time you'll be at the hospital or clinic.
By the way, if you're receiving welfare assistance, let them know in advance and you'll be exempted from paying the fee.
Now, there is one little catch to this whole thing.
What's that?
Well, when you make an appointment, it's unlikely that the people at FACIL who take your call or receive your email will be able to speak English. So we highly recommend that you ask someone who speaks Japanese to help you make the appointment for you.
Okay, and do you have the contact information, Floyd?
Of course. Their telephone number is 078-736-2230, and their email address is facil-medical@tcc117.jp, and I'll spell that out. It's FACIL-MEDICAL @tcc117.jp.
Okay, remember, it takes time to find an interpreter who meets our requirements, so don't expect someone to show up immediately after you contact FACIL.
Right.
As we said earlier, try to make your appointment for an interpreter several days in advance on when you'll need them.
Yeah, and please be aware there's a limited budget for this service, so it may be terminated when they reach the maximum number of cases.
And here are a couple of other important topics.
First, please pay the 2,500 yen directly to the interpreter before leaving the hospital on the day of your visit.
And secondly, be aware that a cancellation fee will be charged if you cancel within 2 business days of the appointment date.
Now, if it's difficult for you to contact FACIL by yourself in Japanese, you can always call the Nishinomiya City International Association. Our English-speaking staff will be happy to help. And we'd like to welcome to the show this month, Ms. I. Richardson. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, as we mentioned at the top of the show, you're originally from the Philippines, but you've been living in Nishinomiya for a while now. You're a Nishinomiya resident.
Yes, that's right. I've been living here for 4 years now.
Wow. Now, we also have Brielle with us today. That's your daughter. And Brielle has been helping us out with the background sound effects through a lot of the show. So,
sorry about that. Yes, she likes to talk.
Okay, Brielle, welcome to the show, Brielle. We'll talk to you later, okay? We have some questions lined up for you. So you were saying you've been in Japan for 4 years, or Nishinomiya for 4 years.
Right.
So what brought you to our city?
So before coming to Nishinomiya, I was living in Seattle, and I have an American husband, and then we decided to just have a family in Japan instead of U.S. Right.
So it sounds like with your Philippine background, Seattle and Nishinomiya, you kind of have an international family.
Yes, that's right. And because I'm half Japanese as well, so that's why Japan is an option. Right.
Now, you were saying, so you lived in Nishinomiya for 4 years, and then you were in Seattle before that for 3 years. Where were you before Seattle?
I was in Miyagi, so where I met my husband. So we were both teaching in Miyagi Ken for like 3 years.
Were you both English teachers?
Yes, that's right.
So now Miyagi, that was like that's almost 10 years ago. So you must have been there during the earthquake.
That's right. Yes, I was there. Both my husband and I were there, but
Yes.
we were not married back then yet. Yes.
So that must have been quite an experience.
It was indeed it was very scary, and I was alone in my apartment, and I didn't know what to do. I just felt there was a big earthquake. It was really huge, but I didn't even know there was a tsunami. Right.
So luckily you weren't close enough to the ocean that the tsunami came to your neighborhood, I guess.
Yes, I was lucky, but to be honest, my town back then was like seaside. Right. But I guess I was living more inland that I didn't even see a tsunami. Right.
Had you experienced earthquakes before that?
Yes, I did, but not that strong. Like in the Philippines, I did experience like a small earthquake, but not like magnitude 9 earthquake.
So
Right.
did your future husband come rushing over to see if you're okay?
He couldn't. Like back then, we were just like friends.
You weren't that
Right.
close.
Right, but then actually, yes, I guess the earthquake, the earthquake was when our like love story started,
Okay.
because we were contacting each other. So what happened to you? And then, for me to be able to go back to the Philippines, because of course family and relatives like in the Philippines were worried about me. They wanted me to go back to the Philippines. So for me to be able to do that, I had to go to like the main city or Sendai, or to go to Tokyo to be able to get a flight back home. And I was able to do that because my husband helped me to be able to ride the US bus to Tokyo.
Oh,
So that's when the love story started.
Oh, really?
very nice
Right.
love story.
Well,
Started.
something
It was-
very
It's the destiny, I guess.
something very positive came out of that earthquake. then.
Right.
So your husband went also to Philippines with you during the time?
No, he went back to the US and I went back to the Philippines.
Oh, and then you went back to Philippines. How long you've been staying in the Philippines, and then back to Japan again, right?
Right. I only stayed there for like a few weeks, and then I came back here and
The same
started.
place, or
Right.
oh yeah.
So that's why people were like saying, "You're so brave." Like, why did like most teachers back then they just didn't come back because they were so scared. But for me, I said like I think the more I should go back, because like Japan's lacking English teachers. It was lacking English teachers back then. So I said I should just go back.
Yeah, a lot of people left, I think, because of what was happening with the nuclear plant. You know, there was a lot of fear about that. So I know a lot of Americans went back permanently, went back to the States.
Okay,
Right.
Floyd, I'm just curious why she really likes to go back to the same place. Like it was really scary, you know. What do you think? Like it makes me amazed. Like what makes you feel to come back to Miyazaki? What is-
Miyagi.
Miyagi. I'm sorry.
Right. But my company moved us to a like safer place, not like seaside. So that made me like, oh, it might be okay, right? And then
After all what happened, like you know the scary earthquake things, you have no hesitation to go back. You're
Right.
so brave. Oh, wow.
Right. And I enjoy the job. I enjoy teaching, so I said why not? And again, I also like Japan, so
Okay.
right.
And then you met your husband again that moment in the same
Right.
place.
And yes, and we were both moved to the exact same city. So I guess
Oh, that's the start there. Okay.
right.
Did you get married before moving to Seattle?
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
So you had like
Oh, so you just had-
Japanese style wedding, or
Japanese style meaning signing the documents, and that was it.
Oh, okay.
did
Right.
any of your relatives come to the wedding?
Yes, they did. Right. Right.
And then
But
you moved
nothing-
to Seattle then after that.
Right. Yes.
But I think you moved back to Japan. For what reason? Why you choose Japan over Seattle?
My husband and I, we did like a pros and cons list, like what's good and what's not good, and then we
Okay.
just think it's better to raise a family in Japan than in the U.S. since I'm half Japanese and we've lived in Japan anyway.
Oh,
So right.
So this was before Brielle was even born. You were thinking ahead that when you want to start a family, that you'd rather do it here.
Right.
Oh,
And raise the child here because we believe Japan is safer and it's more convenient.
wow.
So do you plan to put Brielle into Japanese school, like normal elementary schools and kindergartens?
I have so many options, but I think yes, we're planning to do that.
Does she speak Japanese yet? Or is
She's
learning?
speaking a lot of Japanese because she goes to childcare, Japanese childcare.
Ah, that's
Right.
good. So maybe she can start. I understand that your Japanese is still a little bit weak from what you were
Yes.
saying, so maybe she can help you with
Exactly. That
Right.
would really be.
well, children learn so quickly. So I mean, we're already out of time for this month, but I think we'd like to continue the interview next month. So can you and Brielle come back? Can you come
Yes.
back next month, Brielle?
Yeah, sure. I think she's
Okay.
enjoying having it here.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk more
Thank you
next
so
month's
much.
show.
All right, my pleasure. Thank you.
Bosai Joho desu. The Hyogo Emergency Net, or Hyogo E-Net, is an internet service provided by Hyogo Prefecture that delivers disaster prevention and urgent information to smartphones via email in 12 languages, including English.
Download the free application from your smartphone's app store, and you can find it by doing a search for Hyogo Prefectural.
Next, once you have it set up, set the language to English and set the city to Nishinomiya.
In the event of a disaster, emergency information from the city, such as evacuation advisories, dangerous weather information, and other warnings, will automatically be sent to your smartphone.
Now, plus, this information will automatically be translated and displayed in English. Now, the translation isn't perfect, but it's definitely clear enough for you to understand the important details.
Be sure to subscribe to the Hyogo Emergency Net in advance to prepare for disasters.
Nishinomiya City will now issue a vaccination certificate or vaccine passport to confirm COVID-19 vaccination for those who are traveling abroad.
There are some conditions for issuing the certificate, such as you must have a registered resident of Nishinomiya City at the time of vaccination, and you must have a passport.
For more details, please refer to the English language page of the Nishinomiya City website under Multilingual.
To apply, go to the 8th floor of the Nishinomiya City Hall, East Wing, 3-1, Rokutanji-cho. If you have all the necessary documents, the certificate will be issued on the same day.
And if you're not traveling overseas and need a record of your vaccination, please use the vaccination certificate or vaccination record form that you received when you were vaccinated.
For various consultation services and inquiries, please contact the Nishinomiya City International Association, NIA.
Our phone number is 0798-328680, and our email address is nia@nishi.or.jp.
English-speaking staff are available to help you.
Now that the state of emergency has been lifted, daily life is gradually returning to normal, but please continue to be careful and stay safe.
提供は西宮市国際交流協会でした。Have a great weekend, everyone.